Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, we're going to take a look at the toughest schedule for 2025, according to Phil Steele. Now, it's difficult to get a great idea on schedule because you don't know what teams are going to do during the season. Like, for example, last year, if you played Florida State, going into last year, you're thinking, okay, this is a team that was undefeated in the regular season, won their conference, and then last year they won 2 ball games. So you really don't know 100% what you're dealing with. Typically, once you get to the end of the regular season, you know what you're dealing with, strength of schedule, and that's the best time to look at it and know what you're dealing with. But we don't have that luxury, so everybody's trying to figure out who's got the toughest schedule. Phil Steele took a stab at it, and let's take a look and see what he thinks. He's usually pretty good about stuff like this. He gets into all the technical details. We won't be doing all of that, but he does the hard work. And this was on Sports Illustrated. James Parks was talking about it a little bit, but let's get into the rankings. All right, now this first one, Stanford at number 10. I don't know if he's thinking the teams they're playing are that tough, because I looked at this one and I wasn't 100% on it. But I'm wondering if he's thinking Stanford's just not very good, so it's going to be really hard on them. Now, they do have a few tough games in here, but it gets way more interesting as we get into it and we get down to 9 and 8 and all that. But they're at Hawaii. Then they do play BYU. That was going to be a really tough game, but they lost their quarterback. Boston College, Virginia, San Jose, it's not that bad. Then SMU's pretty tough. We don't know about Florida State. We just don't. At Miami's tough. Pittsburgh can be tough. At North Carolina, we don't know. That's Bill Belichick.
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
Sorry, I just thought it'd be nice if people knew we were a couple.
California, and then Notre Dame. That's a tough one, the Notre Dame one. Stanford has been pretty much a pushover for quite a long time. They had a good run there for a little while, but I would not have put them 10. But you got to start somewhere. All right, Kentucky, number 9. This is not a team that needs to have a top 10 strength of schedule gauntlet. They just don't. They're coming off 4-8 last year. Mark Stoops is up against it as much as you can possibly be. He's at a basketball school. He has no money to work with. All the money goes to basketball. They get 5-star after 5-star. He's stuck with 3-star after 3-star. Had to go in the portal, got a 3-star quarterback, didn't have money to get a 4 or 5. I don't get it. But anyway, this schedule's not going to be useful. Got to play Ole Miss. That's brutal. At South Carolina, at Georgia, Texas, Tennessee. What? Auburn, Florida, and Louisville? Folks, Mark, you're up against it, buddy.
It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault.
Oh my God.
You don't have the support that you need financially, and you get a schedule like this. I mean, that is a nightmare. How is that not number 1? It should be. God, man, Kentucky. That's another probably 4-8 situation. Now, here's UCLA at number 8. Oh, Nico. You sure you made a good decision going there? Surrounded by 3-stars everywhere you look at UCLA. If you've seen their rankings in recruiting, it's not been good. And to get a top 10 strength of schedule, day 1, let's take a look and see what they've got. Let's see. Utah, that's a tough one. UNLV's a pretty good team. New Mexico, Northwestern, that's okay. No problem there. Penn State, Michigan State, Maryland, at Indiana. Nebraska, I'll give you a game. At Ohio State, that's brutal. Washington, we don't know. And then at USC. Yeah, Nico, that's a rough schedule. Half the teams you're going to play against are going to have a lot more talent than you. So we'll see how that plays out. We're going to be watching Nico this season, that's for sure.
You big dummy.
He's got Oklahoma at number 7. They're coming off 2 losing seasons out of the last 3. And Oklahoma's a blue blood. They're loaded with talent. They're like an Auburn team. They're sitting there with like a 65% blue chip ratio. You should never have a losing season at Oklahoma, not with that blue chip ratio. But their quarterback play was poor last year with a 5-star. And I'm going to tell you what happened to them last year. They had so many injuries, especially at wide receiver, and I'm a proponent that it was their field that caused a lot of that. We played there last year, and their field was long and wet. And here's the thing about that for wide receivers. You can't cut because you're going to get soft tissue injuries, and our running back, Dylan Sampson, said he was concerned about cutting. All he could do was run downhill because he said, I didn't want to mess up my ankle or my knee. So I'm sure they got a new greenskeeper there, or at least got him squared away. But Oklahoma, number 7, let's see what their schedule is. It's probably pretty tough. Okay, they got to play Michigan.
It's got to be America's team.
At Temple, there's Auburn. Kent State, no problem there. Texas, at South. Ooh, oh, my gosh. Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. Woo! Brent Venables. How is that one not number 1?
Man's got to know his limitations.
Wow. Oklahoma, y'all have got a schedule. Woo! That should be ranked a lot higher. All right, LSU and Brian Kelly. This is the brutal one right off the bat, Clemson. LSU has lost the opening game the last 3 seasons for Brian Kelly. He has got to beat Clemson, and it's going to be very difficult. It's at Clemson, and the Tigers are loaded. So, that's a very difficult start. Then they got to play Florida, at Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt's no pushover with Diego, Texas A&M, Alabama, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. That's pretty tough. Yeah. Now, LSU's got tons of talent, and they got a great quarterback, but that's pretty rough. You got to beat Clemson, man. You just got to. All right, here's Syracuse, and this is one. Now, the Orangemen won 10 games last year, by the way. Now, they lost Kyle McCord. Of course, he went to the NFL. He had a fantastic season last year. They had some good wide receivers, too. They've lost a lot, so this is going to be tricky. They're going with the Angeli kid that was at Notre Dame, who was a third-string dude there, and he's pretty good, but, he's very, I don't want to use the term immobile, but compared to what you're used to in college football these days, he's just very much a pocket passer, and they're going to need somebody that can run. They do have a backup from LSU that's a pretty good dual-threat guy, but they're going to go with experience starting out. Anyway, let's take a look at their schedule. It's brutal. They got to play, let's see, they're playing Tennessee, UConn, Colgate. Then they got to at Clemson. Tennessee and Clemson in the first 4 games. Duke. Then they got to go to SMU, Pittsburgh, and Georgia Tech. Let me tell you something. Do not sleep on the Texters. North Carolina, at Miami, at Notre Dame. Wow. Syracuse, what are you thinking?
What the hell is even that?
That is rough. That is too tough a schedule for Syracuse with all the change they've got. They got to play Tennessee right off the bat, and the Vols are favored by 14. That's at a neutral field. That's a very difficult schedule, especially for an ACC school. That's really remarkable. That's unfortunate. All right, South Carolina. Woo, I know their schedule's rough. I've already looked at it. Oh, my gosh. Now, they have Lenora Sellers. He is a big game changer, but they lost a lot on defense. That's their big concern. They had a really good defense last year, but they've lost a lot of that. But they have the most dynamic quarterback in the country. He's the most entertaining to watch, and he can keep them in about any game. Let's see who they got here. They start out pretty easy. Virginia Tech, they'll handle them, and South Carolina State. Then they got Vanderbilt, Missouri, Kentucky, LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama. Alabama, at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M. And then Clemson. They always play Clemson. That's rough. That is a very difficult schedule. Lenoris, you're going to have a lot to carry this year. That is a lot of pressure on a young man. I didn't realize it was this tough.
It's kind of the story of the night. Clock was wrong the whole game. We're trying to kick an onside kick to start the second half, and we got to wait on the chain crew because they're eating a hot dog. That's the only disappointing thing about tonight. So,
jeez. These are some rough schedules, folks. Well, they're top 10. I guess they should be. Arkansas. Sam Pittman, you don't need a tough schedule, buddy. Pittman's been hanging on like this. Tennessee saved him last year. He loses that game, he might be gone. And he's got Bobby Petrino waiting in the wings to take over this job. Let's see what they got here. Got a couple of easy games. Then they got at Ole Miss, at Memphis. You got a little careful with them. Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got some games this year. At Tennessee, that's going to be rough. Texas A&M, Auburn. Now Mississippi State, they'll handle that. At LSU, Texas and Missouri. That is brutal, brutal, brutal. Sam, pack your bags, buddy. I don't think you'll be here after this year. That is just too rough a schedule. And he's going to get judged on record. I don't think he'll survive. And they're not a bad team. It's just they might not look very good. How did you get Notre Dame in there? And Texas. All right. Phil Steele's got Mississippi State with the second toughest schedule in the country. You want to talk about a team that does not need that. At Southern Miss, Arizona State. Oh, geez, they got that great quarterback. Got a couple easy ones then. Tennessee, Texas A&M, at Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Missouri, and Ole Miss.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I don't know, Leby. He's Mississippi State is in trouble. It's not that they're a terrible team. It's just they're in a really rough conference. They got a crazy tough schedule. They might win 2 or 3 games this year, just like last year. That's way too tough for them, folks. Way too tough. All right, now they got Wisconsin at number 1. Let's see who Wisconsin's got here to justify that. All right, Miami of Ohio, that's easy. Let me look out for MTSU. I know you think that's, what's that? Middle Tennessee State. They're not a bad team. At Alabama, that's rough. Maryland, you'll be fine there. At Michigan, Iowa, then Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, at Indiana, at Illinois. Woo, that is rough, Wisconsin. Shoo, that's very difficult. I don't know if I'd rank that number 1, but that is a lot on your plate. Wisconsin, you're up against it. That's tough. Now let's go down here and take a little look-see at the ones below 10. TCU, Florida. Florida's got a very difficult schedule. I would probably put them in the top 10. Purdue is terrible, and they got a 13th. That's terrible. That'll be a rough season for them. A&M, Texas 15, Purdue, Auburn, Colorado, Oregon, USC. There's Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State at number 24, Boston. Where the heck? There's Vanderbilt, Clemson 29th. Where is Tennessee? I know. See, I'm not going to agree with this. I know Tennessee's not this low. Let's see where there's Penn State at 37th. Georgia at 44th. I don't think so. Tennessee, no way. We got to play Georgia, Alabama, and Florida and Oklahoma. I don't think so. There's Ole Miss. And like I said, folks, it's early. We hadn't even played a ball game. You will know strength of schedule after 12 ball games. That's when you'll know, because right now there is so much change in college football with the transfer portal. Injuries, things like that change everything. Nobody's got a ton of backups like back in the day. Now, there are a few teams that do, like a Texas and Alabama, Ohio State, etc. But it's not like it used to be. You don't have a third-string quarterback that's a 5-star that's been there 2 or 3 years. Those guys are gone. If you're not getting to play, you're going to go somewhere else. So there can be a lot happen, and we'll know way better as we go through the season how good these strength of schedule estimates are by Phil Steele. But like I say, you got to start somewhere. And I thought this was pretty interesting. There are some teams that are going to have, well, I don't know. I say there's going to be some change. Nobody's got the money to throw around like they used to because they got to pay the players. And it's not just the $20.5 million, 20 more scholarships and more scholarships across the board. It's really about $30 million. And that's not easy to deal with unless you're in the top 10 best money schools. It's getting real difficult out there, and we're going to lose some sports. I'll just go ahead and tell you, there's going to be some, Olympic sports, probably some other sports that are not going to make the cut at certain colleges. They just can't. So anyway, but we'll keep up with all this. Season's going to be starting very soon. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, and boom. Help you get my videos. Won't cost you a dime to subscribe. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Congratulations, you played yourself.